Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to today's current affairs webinar. Today we'll be discussing the mains based current affairs from July month's perspective. In July months, what are all the important current affairs which happened, and out of them we have picked 5 important topics from 5 different subjects, and today I'll be explaining you from multiple perspective how you should be dividing a particular topic and how you should be presenting it in your examination if it is asked in the mains examination. So the focus, the key idea behind this session is you will be learning if you are getting a question about this in the mains examination, how to present it, how you should be framing the answer, and from examination perspective, from the prelims and mains examination point of view, what are all the important data you should be remembering, what are the important key points you should be remembering, each and everything I'll be explaining in this class. Having said that, let's start with the class. Before going into the topics, I have to give you a brief idea about the Byju's exam prep app. Once you log into the app, once you click on the app, the login section will open. You can either log in through your mobile number or you can click on continue with Google. Continue with Google is the best thing. If you click on it, it will automatically get logged in, and then the interface will appear like this. Here all the courses which are provided by Byju's will be available. You are enrolled in IAS program, so you click on IAS. The next option will be this, either IAS or IAS Hindi. So you can click on IAS because you have enrolled for the English course. Then the interface will appear like this. For tablet learning program students, it will be in this way. For the home learning program students, for Byju's home learning program students, it will be in this manner. For tablet learning program, you click on home page and then you scroll down. You will get all the videos of all the subjects. Whatever videos you can go through it. And for home learning program, my classroom option will be available. You click on it and then your classes will be available there. So the idea behind explaining you this is a one-stop solution for everything. Whatever material you want to have for your preparation, for example, the current affairs materials will be available here. Unit tests, that will be available here. Webinars, you are already watching webinar here. And then the videos, the tablet video or the BHLP classes, everything will be available in a single app. All right, so let's start with the class. Are you ready? Shall we begin? All right, fine. So let's start with the topics. 5 topics, as I told, from different subjects we have selected. The first one, new rule to keep advertisements in check. Advertisements has been increasing too much in the recent times and it has become a globalized world. So advertisements has to be regularized. If there are any issues with advertisements, how we will be dealing with it? If there are any problems the consumers are facing because of misrepresented advertisements or misinformed advertisements, how we should face it, we'll discuss it in the first topic. It's important from polity point of view. Second one, farm loan waivers. Farm loan waivers means what? When farmers are getting loans, if they are not able to pay it, the government will tell you, don't worry, we will pay it. So because of this, what are all the problems? Is it a good idea to follow this? Should we make some changes to this? This comes under economy section. I2, U2, this is among the international relations topic. International relations. This is a new group. We will discuss about this in the session. It is very, very important from your GS second paper point of view. Third one, push for wider use of genomics. Genomics is something that comes under science and tech. I will explain you in a detailed manner when we start with the topic. Glaciers in Dras sector are receding fast. This is something which comes under geography, or it can come under the environment and ecology also. Glaciers are receding, glaciers are melting due to the excess amount of heat we are producing because of global warming. So we have to take care of it. As a civil servant, we should have a very good idea about it. So that's why this topic is taken. So let's start with the first topic of the day, new rules to keep advertisements in check. So all of us know that advertisements may be misrepresented sometime. They can give wrong information sometime. This happens. And we take it as a part of the advertisement. We do not consider it very serious. But in reality, it is a very serious issue. Why? We have a lot of companies, we have a lot of organizations at present. The global economy, the national economy, everything depends on how the private sector works. Here, if a company is producing an advertisement which is wrong, that can result in completely shifting of the consumers towards that product. If they are telling a lot of lies, let me give you an example. This happened in United States of America. There was a product. The product was a spice which can be used in food materials. Do you know what the company advertised? The company said, if you use this spice in your food, the flavor will be very good and very satisfying in nature. People tend to eat less. Because of the flavor, they will feel like, I am full now. So because of this, your obesity will go away. Is this a reality? If the flavor is very good, people tend to eat more. But the advertisement completely misrepresented, misquoted the entire scenario. Because of this, the US court, the judicial system of the United States said that this advertisement should be taken down from the network. Similarly, a lot of such advertisements are there in India also. We should be taking care of it. We cannot make fool out of the consumers. Recently, what happened? Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA, they released a new set of guidelines to prevent false or misleading advertisements. They said we are framing some new rules. According to these new rules, from now on, we cannot misrepresent anything. We cannot misquote anything. Advertisements should be proper in nature. New norms were also made for celebrity endorsement. A lot of celebrities are there, movie actors are there, cricket players are there who are considered to be celebrities, and in India, celebrities are considered as gods and goddesses. So if they are endorsing a particular product, what are all the norms they should be following, what methods they should be following, everything has been given by the CCPA. First thing, I told you it was given by CCPA. So, Central Consumer Protection Authority, what are all the powers? Why this body is there? That you need to know. Because if you are writing an answer for this in your examination, you cannot directly go and write that these are all the measures that was provided. You should write, you should know at least a little bit about the body, because it came into being with the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. It is a statutory body. A law was passed, and based on that law, this particular body was created. Why was it created? Because we needed some body to take care of the importance of the customers, the interest of the customers. Everyone is a customer. Even the president of the country consumes, the prime minister of the country consumes, everyone consumes. So everyone is a customer. Each and every citizen is a consumer. So we need a body to take care of the interest of the consumer. So what are all the powers the Central Consumer Protection Authority has? First, violation of rights of consumers. If consumers' rights are violated, they will take care of it. Or if there is something which is going to violate the rights of the consumer, even then they will take care of it. Second, unfair trade practices and misleading advertisement. Unfair trade practices means what? If there is a product, its MRP is fixed at 500. If a seller is selling it at 600 rupees, you can go and complain to CCPA. If there is an advertisement which is completely misrepresenting the scenario, if they are quoting wrong things, if they are giving false information, you can go and complain to CCPA. They will take care of it. They also gave the authority to the district magistrate. They said each and every state should give the power to district magistrate. Why to give the power to district magistrate? Because local level advertisements are also there. Advertisements are too much of advertisement happens in our country that a single authority cannot deal with it. So we have given the power to the district magistrate. He will be taking care of it. If there are no compliance, if the companies are not following this rule, then what should be done? That will be decided by the CCPA. Rights of the consumers will be enforced by the CCPA. Authority is given to CCPA by the Consumer Protection Act. So out of all these things, what you should remember from examination point of view, you should remember that CCPA will take care of the interest of the consumers. One thing, it was given by the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. That was the second thing. Third, if there is any wrong advertisements, if there is any unfair trade practices, that will be taken care of. District magistrate should be given the power. At least these 4 points you need to remember. That's all. So I told you in the recent times they have given some new set of guidelines. We need to know each and every guideline. We don't have to study in detail, but you need to know the basic information, the most important points that were given by the CCPA. It can be asked in your GS2 under the polity section. First one, they gave a proper definition. What is a valid advertisement? Till now, you don't even, people will not even believe this. Till now, we did not have a proper definition. What is an advertisement? There should be a proper definition, right? What is a valid advertisement? An advertisement that is true and honest representation of goods and does not exaggerate the accuracy. An advertisement about a particular product should be true. First thing. Second, it should not tell those things which are actually not there in the product. Whatever you are telling, it should be available in the product, and it should be scientific in nature. You cannot just give a health drink and tell that if you drink this, your children will grow their height to 10 centimeter, 15 centimeter. That's completely not valid at all. Or if you are giving such information, you should have some scientific data. They should have done some experiment. It should be scientific. It should be accepted by the scientific bodies of the country or by the government. Then you can do the advertisement. Else, you cannot. Surrogate advertisement. Have you heard this term, surrogate advertisement? Anyone? Have anyone heard this particular term? Yeah, there are people who have heard what surrogate advertisement is. Fine. Shubham, Manisha, etc. Good. So I will tell you what surrogate advertisement is. If you are people who are watching the television continuously, have you seen an ad, Bacardi music videos? Bacardi is actually a liquor company. In India, liquors and cigarettes cannot be advertised. So what they do is they advertise their music CDs. They also produce music CDs. There are some other liquor companies who produce mineral water. So what they do is they advertise their other products. But the idea is not to promote the music CDs. At present, who listens to music CDs? Everyone goes online and watch or listen to the songs. So the idea is to plant the name of the brand. The name of the brand is this. You tell the name of the brand 5-6 times in the advertisement. It will get into the subconscious level of the consumer. And next time, if he or she look at the product, at the liquor in a shop or somewhere, then it will already be there in the mind. So they will always prefer it. It is a kind of psychologically mind washing and a kind of marketing. So this is called surrogate advertisement. It should not happen. Here we are actually making fool out of the consumers. It should not happen. So a proper definition of surrogate advertisement was first time given by this set of rules. This is very, very important. Advertisements targeting children. Children are very vulnerable groups. Children do not have very good level of mental stability. Their mindset is not very matured. If you tell anything, they can trust. And if it is coming in the television, they consider it as the truth. So for those advertisements which are targeting the children, what regulations they bought? First thing, it prohibits any health or nutritional claims or benefits without being fairly or scientifically substantiated. That's what I told. If you are claiming that your children will have an increased level of height, if it is claimed that your children's nutritional level will increase, the vitamins will increase in the body of your children. If these things are claimed, it has to be scientifically proven, else such advertisements will be taken down by the CCPA. Negative body image should not be promoted. Negative body image means what? Telling that, is your children overweight, let us get this product so that your children's weight will reduce. You cannot call a child an overweight. That if it is a medical issue, then it is fine, but you cannot generalize, because children or different regions will have different kind of height, different kind of weight. Children of northeast regions will have an average height which may be lesser than the children of the western part of the country. The skin color can be different. So these are very natural. You cannot put a single idea and tell that this is how a child should be. Such kind of advertisements should be taken down. This third point is very, very important. Give importance to this. Junk food ad, such as chips, roasted chips, such things, or carbonated water, carbonated drinks, such things cannot be played in channels which are exclusive for children. There are channels such as the Cartoon Network, the Pogo channel, etc., which are exclusive for children. Here the content should also be exclusive for children. If the content is cartoons which are exclusive for children, which are heavily censored and very well monitored, then advertisement should also be like that. You cannot play advertisements which can promote these kind of junk food in your network if it is a child exclusive network. So these are all the major points which was given. Apart from this, some other minor reforms also have been taken care of. First one, disclaimer. If you are talking about a particular product, if there is a disclaimer, mention it. You might have watched this mutual funds ad. By the end of the ad, you will get a information. You will get a voice note which tells that mutual funds are subjected to market risk. So if you are investing in mutual fund, get a complete idea about the scheme and then invest. And whatever investment you do, it is up to you, because you should be informed. So this is a disclaimer. Because in the advertisement, you are claiming that with mutual fund, your life will be prosperous. You will get a lot of profit. But in reality, it has a lot of risk too. Yes, that can happen. If you are doing it in a very scientific way, with application of proper economic principles, it can happen. If not, you will lose out. So that has to be mentioned. So any product which has a disclaimer has to be mentioned by the producer or the advertising company. Must not attempt to hide any material information with respect to any claim made in the advertisement. If there is any material information, that has to be mentioned too. For example, if there is a product and by consuming that product you can have a side effect, that has to be mentioned. Very good examples are this beauty products. If there is any side effect or if there is any disclaimer, mention it. Without mentioning, you cannot advertise. And in the product, in the package of the product, this disclaimer should be mentioned. If it is a cosmetic product and if it is going to have some issue, like in some of the cosmetic products, they would have mentioned, if you would have seen it in a proper way, the packaging, they would have mentioned that children cannot use it, children or people with sensitive skin cannot use it. That will be very clearly mentioned. So what they are telling is, it's not just that you have to mention it, you have to make sure it is very legible. The words should not be so small that people will miss out. It has to be legible. Everyone should be able to see it. Penalties up to 10 lakh and imprisonment up to 2 years if the companies are not following these rules properly. So we have told that these are all the guidelines. As a UPSC aspirant, it is not enough if you just know the guidelines. You should have the analytical mind. You should know why these guidelines are important. Why am I taking this guidelines in the class? Because there is a high scope. This can appear in your examination. And you as a civil servant should be informed about all these developments. What are the significance? Why these guidelines are important? That's what is more important for us. First one, all the loopholes in the laws are plugged now. Earlier, we did not even have a proper definition of an advertisement. Earlier, we had all kind of misinformation in the advertisement. Those were loopholes. Now we have fixed it. We have made definition. We have told that if you are not following it, you will have to pay a penalty. When we compare with international standards, even now, even with the new guidelines, we have not reached up to that stage. But this is a very good way forward. With this, we are making sure that even for surrogate advertisements, etc., we are making sure that we have a good set of norms which can deal with all kind of advertisements. That is the second point. These issues were there for the last 10 to 15 years. For last 10 to 15 years, these issues were ignored. Why? There are several reasons. Because we as a country, we need investment. We are promoting businesses. If some new business is coming up, that has to be promoted. So because of all these things, they might have not taken all these measures, but then now is the time. Now is the time. India is the 5th largest economy. So we have to make sure all these things are in a proper manner. Whenever you have a clear definition about things, the problems will also reduce. You have a clear definition, you can easily go to court. If you have any problem, you can go to the judicial system. You can just read it. This is the definition. And you can, if you are an informed person, you can understand whether this company is following this or not. Based on it, you can go forward. And the organizations who are making this advertisement, they will also know whether we are following the things properly or not. Setting the right intention for advertisement means the intention for an advertisement is to tell the people that this product is there. See, I am launching this product and these are all the features of the product. But you cannot give some misinformation there. So the basic idea behind advertisement, it will be reinforced with the help of this kind of norms. Child rights and interest we have upheld because of this kind of norms. Right to choose and right to inform. This is the most important points. UPSC likes if you are writing these kind of terms in your examination, so you mention it. Right to be informed about everything, not just about a product, about the details of the product. If there are any disclaimers, that you need to be informed. Right to choose. No one can impose on you that you should be choosing this product. No company can say that I am the best. No other competitors are the best. You cannot say that unless the government have accepted it. So a lot of products will say that we are the best in the market. You cannot just claim without any kind of scientific explanation. So all these are the significances. What are the challenges? Apart from this, we will have some challenges also. Whenever a law is passed, a challenge will be there. What are the basic challenges? First thing, judicial review can happen. Of course, the advertising companies, the organizations, MNCs, they can go to the court and they can claim that. How can you do this norms? Because let's take an example. I told you, in child exclusive, in child exclusive channels, you cannot advertise the junk foods. So they can go to the court and they can say Article 14 is there. We have right to equality and equal protection of law. We should be considered equal with all the other channels too. So this can happen. Article 19(1)(g). What is Article 19(1)(g)? Right to practice any profession. So they can say that because of these norms, we are not able to practice our profession in a proper manner. We are facing a lot of hurdles. But then these are all not absolute rights. You can restrict. Reasonable restrictions can be there. So you might have studied this in polity. So this can be one challenge, but it's not a huge challenge or anything. Difficulty in defining. Even though we have a proper definition, there are a lot of products, there are a lot of advertisements. So some advertisements may not come in this definition also. There is a chance. You have a single regulatory CCPA. CCPA is taking care of everything, and CCPA already have very less power. Power is less, amount of people who are there, they are less, the authority is also less, Unless the state government and the district administration take care of all these issues, these set of rules cannot be implemented properly, because CCPA does not have that kind of authority or power. Implementation and cooperation of advertisers. Any set of rule you can form, any kind of law can be passed. If it is not implemented properly, what is the use? There are a lot of laws which are not implemented properly. Dowry Abolition Act is there, but dowry is still practiced everywhere all over the country. So it is not implemented properly. The same way here too we have to implement. Apart from that, advertisers, they should actually follow it. We have a lot of advertising agencies. They will always come with innovative solution to break the law, but that should not be the case. The government should actually take the partnership of these advertising agencies and tell that, see, these laws we are considering very seriously, hence it has to be followed, else you will be penalized. That has to be done. Apart from this, a basic idea about celebrity endorsement. If a celebrity is endorsing a particular product, he should disclose whether he has any material connection with the company or not. If, for example, Virat Kohli is going to endorse a particular product, if he is going to be the brand ambassador of the product, he should first disclose to the CCPA whether he has invested any money there. If he is the owner or not, that has to be first told. Then you go for the advertisement. That is the first thing. Second thing, whatever you tell in the advertisement, it should be honest opinion. You cannot lie. Whatever you tell, it should be honest opinion based on your own belief system or experience. So you cannot be an athlete who don't even touch any carbonated drink, but then you go there and you promote a carbonated drink in an advertisement. This is complete conflict with your own ethics. That should not be there. Whatever you endorse, it should be honest and should be based on your own experience, personal experience. If the celebrities are not following it, penalty will be there. 10 lakh penalty if it is the first offense, 50 lakh penalty for subsequent offenses. Apart from this, if the CCPA thinks that this is a very serious issue, if the celebrity has not followed anything, if they consider this, they can ban the celebrity from endorsement for the next 1 year. They can say that for the next 1 year you cannot endorse any product. Understood? So we have seen the details of the norms. We have seen what are all the significance, challenges also I have explained, and then some idea about the other provisions such as the celebrity endorsement also have been explained. If you are getting this question as a 15 marker, let's say in the examination they are asking this question, how you will conclude? We have formed an act and it is very significant, but then there should be a proper regulation. We should monitor it properly. We should make sure it is implemented properly. That's how you conclude. So these new guidelines for prevention of misleading advertisements and endorsements 2022. Remember these terms, students. Whenever you are getting a particular law, remember each and every term in a proper manner so that you can explain it very well in the examination. It provides clear guidelines for duties of manufacturer, service provider, advertiser, and the advertising agencies too. This will surely protect the consumer's interest through bringing in more transparency and clarity. However, you can mention that this is one step, but implementation of the guidelines in a proper manner will be the success story here. That can be mentioned by you. Fine. I hope all of you have understood this topic. So with that belief, let's start with a prelims question. All of you should be participating in this and try to answer. It is a very simple question. Consider the following statements in relation to Central Consumer Protection Authority, that is CCPA. Two statements they have given. First one, the authority is established under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Whenever I'm encircling, those are key points. If you are seeing this particular question in the examination, you should look at these key points. Right. Second one, this authority has the objective. What is the objective? To protect the rights of the consumer by cracking down on unfair trade practices and false and misleading advertisement. Look at all these statements, words very carefully and see, think whether this was there when I was explaining it. Let's start with the poll. All right, students, 1 minute. Start answering. All right, very good students. Around 80%, 76 to 80% have answered it properly. Very good. I have very well explained that it is under the Consumer Protection Act. The answer is C. And then the objective of the CCPA is to take care of the rights of the people and to prevent unfair practices too. Let's start with one of the main questions. It's just a 10-mark question. I'll tell you how to frame answers. Have all of you started writing answers? Is everyone started writing mains answers? Yes. Yes. A lot of students have started writing. Very good, very good. Start writing. If there are people who have not started writing answers, students, I'm telling you again, prelims is a qualification paper. Mains is where the real game is. The marks you get in mains, that is going to place you as an IAS officer, or it is going to decide whether you are an IAS or IPS or IFS. Everything is going to get decided by the mains marks. So start writing answers from now on and send to targetias@byju's.com. Discuss the significance of guidelines for prevention of misleading advertisements and endorsements for misleading advertisements 2022. They have asked just one thing, significance. How will you frame? First, you should be starting with an introduction. You write that in the recent times, the CCPA has given some rules, which is called as this particular rule. You can mention it. And because of this, the earlier problems which we are facing with advertisements will be resolved. Then you start with significance. Before writing significance, here you can tell new norms. And in a very short manner, you can mention what are all the new norms. What are the changes we have brought in the recent times. And then you write the significance. Why it is significant. I have already discussed with you 4-5 significance. You can mention all of those one by one. And then you come to a conclusion or a way forward, which we discussed earlier. Fine. So having said that, a lot of people were asking, this one question is very interesting, so I will just explain the answer for it. A lot of people were asking if tobacco and liquor advertisement is banned, then why are we selling those products? Because these products are considered as sin goods and they are not promoted. It is just that we have it in the market, and in reality, most of the state governments' revenue depends on them. So they give a lot of revenue for the government, and the tax amount we have had on these products are very high, extremely high amount of taxes we are having. So we are telling that that's the reason it is mentioned in the cigarette box that in a very wide manner with pictorial representation it is mentioned it is harmful and should not be considered, should not be consumed. And we are telling that no one should promote the product, but it will be available. If you want, you can get it, take it. We are getting the revenue. we have to change this revenue model. We have to make sure that we will get revenue from other products and make sure our dependence on liquor or tobacco should be reduced. This should be in the long term. At present, because you asked, I told you this is the reason. All right, second topic, farm loan waivers. Loan waiver, in the beginning when I was introducing the topic, I told if there are people who got a lot of loans and because of some reason they might have had some disaster, or there could have been a natural disaster or something, because of it they might have not been in a position to repay the loan. So what should we do? If let's say that in a state around 50% of the farmers are not able to repay the loan because the monsoon failed, so what should we do in this case? Farmers are already vulnerable. In India, agriculture is not going in a right way. So usually the state governments and sometime even the central government will tell that we will take care of the loan. You don't have to repay it. We will pay to the bank. Banks can directly deal with the government. So this is what we call as farm loan waiver. Hope you have got a basic idea about it, but this has its own positives and negatives, which we will discuss in the session. Recently, what happened? The State Bank of India, they started a study. The study says there is poor implementation of loan waiver scheme, especially in some states. What are those states? Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Punjab, Karnataka, and UP. They say that in these states, you have farm loan waiver. The government has told that the loans of the farmers who are in distress will be waived, but in reality they are not implementing it. Implementation rate is very less farmers have benefited because of this. This is a problem. Apart from this, the NSO, National Statistics Organization, they said that more than half of India's agricultural households are in debt. See, such a bad situation, more than 50% out of the total population, the Ministry of Agriculture says around 54.6% of population is dependent on agriculture. More than half. Out of this, you are telling that half of this particular population, so it will be around, let's say, 60 crore to 70 crore, or more than 75 crore. Out of the 75 crore, you are telling half, so it is around 37 to 40 crores. That many people have debt. This is a serious issue. That is one data. Then in a state such as Andhra Pradesh, which is economically much better than a lot of other states, in that state around more than 90% of the agricultural households are under debt. These points you can actually use in your answer if you are getting a question about problems faced by Indian agriculture. Let's have a basic information about the State Bank's study. What was the basic information? What did we get from this study? It told that only about half of the intended beneficiaries of farm loan waivers announced by these states have actually got a write-off. Means if in a state, for example, 1 crore farmers are there and the state has told that for all this 1 crore farmer, we will waive off the debt. Out of them, just 50 lakh or less than 50 lakh agricultures have got it. Not more than that. This is a serious concern. The states which have very poor implementation are Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, and Jharkhand. Here, the percentage is not that important. The name of the states itself is more than sufficient. States that have implemented the loan waiver in a very good manner are Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra. See, Chhattisgarh is a state which does not have that much economic superiority, but even then, they were able to implement. So that shows that any state can implement it, but they are not doing this because of certain reasons, especially their financial reasons. First thing, we need to know what is a farm loan, because if you are getting a question on farm loan, in introduction or in the beginning of the question, you need to write what a farm loan is. So let's see. Farm loan or agricultural loan are availed by the farmers to fund the seasonal agricultural operations. It can be for purchase of the raw material, it can be for the purchase of fertilizer, it can be for tilling of the land, whatever the case may be. If they have got a loan for agricultural purposes, then it can be classified as farm loan. Apart from that, aligned activities of agriculture such as animal farming, pisciculture. Pisciculture means what? Fishes. If you are doing the agriculture related to fish culture, then we call it as pisciculture. So for all the agricultural activities and aligned activities of agriculture, if you are getting a loan, then it comes under the farm loan. See, even fertilizer, seeds, insecticide, everything comes under the farm loan. Right. What are farm loan waivers? I told you already. They are customized schemes announced by states to help the peasants. Sometime even the center. Most of the time it will be by the states, because agriculture will be taken care by the state governments. But sometimes even the central government will tell, if the central government is convinced that the agriculture is in a very bad situation, the entire output of agriculture has gone down in the recent times, if they are convinced with it, they can also mention. Very important term which you should be remembering here is, it is a customized scheme. Customized scheme means they may not tell that all your loans will be taken away. They can tell that the loans of farmers who have 1 acre to 4 acre, that can be taken care of. Or they can tell that loans around 1 lakh to 5 lakh, that can be taken care of. Or loans around 10,000 to 1 lakh, that can be taken care of. Or loans that comes under a particular region. So for example, if there is a cyclone in Odisha, let's say, so the Odisha government can say loans of agriculturalists or farmers who reside in this coastal region, that can be taken care of. So these are customized. They can be complete also, but most of the time they are customized in nature. They are usually selective. That's what I told. They select a particular criteria and then they tell that we can write off the loan. Example, if there are poor monsoon or natural calamity, etc., in these kind of cases, the loan waiver can be announced. Can be by the state or center, usually to prevent rural distress. See, I told you, more than 50% of the people are involved in agriculture, but then you should know why this farm loan waiver is happening. Because out of, if more than 50% is involved in agriculture, how much should be the total percentage of GDP we get from agriculture? It should be at least 40 to 50%, right? But in India, it is a very different case. We get agricultural GDP around 20%, less than 20%, 19.9% or something. So this shows that the agricultural economy is performing very poor. We need to handhold it. The government need to support it, else the agriculture will even go down, and too many people are dependent on agriculture. That is the reason this is very important. What are the reasons for failure of farm loan waivers? Farm loan waivers are there, the government can implement it. Why are they not able to implement it? What are the major reasons? That you need to know. First point, change in government. Let's say there is a state, let's say Telangana is there. A government is run by a party called ETS. ETS is announcing that election is coming in 2 years. Once this election is over, we will give a farm loan waiver for everyone. I mean, for all the farmers. But then there is the opposition party. Why? It is telling that, see, why are you not doing it now? Why are you waiting till the election? Are you making this as an election issue? So why is telling that, see, we are not in power now. If we were in power, we could have done it. But once we get into power, immediately we will do it. We will waive off all the loans of our farmers. So people got happy and they voted why. Here, ETS was the one who promised first. Now government has changed. Why came into power? Why will tell that at present we don't have that much economy, because the party ETS which was there before me, they have spoiled the economy. So we will have to wait for some 2-3 years. So this story will continue again and again. Continuous change in government has resulted in poor implementation of agricultural loans. Agriculture loan waiver. Rejection of farmers claim. In lot of cases, what will happen? the government will say a lot of caveats. They will say that the loans of 1 lakh to 2 lakh can be waived off, or these particular people can be waived off. They are selective. A lot of guidelines are there. So sometimes the farmers will not come inside the guideline. They might not be coming inside the particular guideline. So a lot of farmers claims will be rejected by the bank or by the government. Limited or low fiscal space. A lot of governments have huge issues. For example, let's say Andhra Pradesh has been continuously telling that we do not have enough revenue, because you divided Andhra Pradesh into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now we don't have good revenue, so they have problem in their own revenue system. So that is one major issue. Because if you are waiving the loans, if you are telling that I will be waiving the loan, you should be giving the money to the bank, and this money will be huge. Too much money will be there. If you are giving that money to the bank, that money is not an investment. You are just giving it. That is not going to get any profit to the state. So it is a wastage according to economic terms. So this is another reason. The promise of farm loan waiver have seen an unprecedented surge in the recent times. In reality, what has happened? The promise has increased. All the parties are telling that we will waive farmer loans when it comes to election, but there is inability or failure to do so. Especially during the COVID times, the economy of all the states and the central government has also gone down. So we cannot implement such schemes, at least for the next 1 or 2 years, in a proper manner. Why do we need farm loan? We know that so many issues are there, but then all the parties tell that we will be giving farm loan, and a lot of experts, agricultural experts, economic experts, they tell that farm loan should be there, farm loan waiver should be there. So there must be some reason. We need to know the basic reason behind it. First one, ill conceived policies. So the Food Corporation of India is there. Food Corporation of India will tell to the farmers, if you are producing these crops, they will give a list of crop, and they will tell that if you are producing these crop, we will procure it. You don't even have to go to the market and sell those products and make profit. They will even tell the money, the amount of the rate at which they will acquire the product. They will tell rice will be acquired at this rupees per kg, wheat will be procured at this rupees per kg. They will mention everything. So farmers have to be happy about it. But in reality, what happens? They do not procure all the product. They will procure rice and wheat more. The remaining products such as pulses, sugarcane, etc. are there. They cannot be procured properly by the Food Corporation of India. What will happen if there is a problem with these crops? Then farmer will have to face the brunt himself. That is a very disastrous situation. So we need solutions such as farm loan waivers. Rain-fed agriculture. India as a country, for agriculture, we are too much dependent on rains. Around 52% of our farm areas are dependent on rains. This is a very bad situation. If the rain is not happening for the past 3 years, rains has been happening in a proper manner. But if there is a failure, what will happen is most of the agricultural lands will go dry, and the investments will go as a waste. They will face a lot of losses, and these people are individuals, they are family. They do not have that much revenue to sustain the losses. Their entire livelihood depends on the profit they get from there. So we need such schemes. Informal credit dispersal. We want the farmers to get the credit from the banks. If they are getting the credit from the bank, they will have a proper fixed interest rate, which is not exploitative in nature. If there is a problem, the government can take care of it. But usually what will happen, these farmers, they will go to money lenders, and they will charge exorbitant amount of interest, exploitative in nature, 10%, in some cases 20%. They will tell we will return in 1 or 2 months, you can give whatever interest you want. So this will result in huge amount of exploitation. If the government says that we will give farm loan waiver, the farmer will know that we have to go to the bank, because if there is a problem, government will waive this loan. If you go to money lender, no one is going to waive your loan. So to make sure the farmers go to banks and get institutional credit, we will have to make sure farm loan waiver is there. Recently, especially in the last 10 years, the amount of farmer suicide have increased a lot. Why? Because if they are not able to pay the loans, the banks will go and they will pressurize them to pay the loan. If they are not able to pay the loan to money lenders, even the money lenders will force them. So this will put a lot of mental pressure on these people. Societal pressure will also be there. If they are not able to pay the loan, in our country it is considered as a big taboo that you are a person who is not able to repay the loan. So because of this, a lot of farmers did suicide. Around 5-6 years ago, if you see, in the northern part of Karnataka and among the Marathwada region of Maharashtra, a lot of farmer suicide happened, and this hit the news regularly. So to prevent such things, we need farm loan waiver. Very less farmers in the country use insurance scheme. We have insurance scheme. Our government has insurance scheme. Government has provided insurance scheme to farmers at very cheap cost. But then our farmers are not able to do it because they are not informed. They do not know what is going on in the country. A lot of them are not much informed about things. They are afraid to go to the institutions such as banks and claim such insurance scheme. That is their right. They have to do it. But in India, insurance penetration is less. If you have insurance, if there is a disaster and if the crops are gone as a loss, the insurance company will pay the agriculturalist. But because there is no much insurance, the government has to take care. So this farm loan waiver scheme is a must. Problem of surplus. This is something which is very, very important for you to know. A lot of time what happens is farmers do not know the principles of economy. What happens is, for example, let me give you a example situation here. Let's say that at present tomato prices are increasing. Tomato prices have increased twofold. Let's say the tomato prices a month ago was 10 rupees. Now it is selling at 20 rupees. So the demand has increased. Farmers will think that now I will invest in tomato. So they will invest in tomato, they will grow tomato, but by the time they cultivate it, it will be around 2 to 3 months later. By that time, the price may go down because vegetables and food prices changes every day. This can happen. The prices can go down completely. And whoever have invested in tomato, there will be a lot of people. So there will be surplus flow. Surplus production of tomato. So because of this, again charges will go down, loss will happen, and the farmers have to depend on government to come and save them. What are the major disadvantage? You already know. I have indirectly told the disadvantages already, but let us look at each and every disadvantage in a proper manner. As I mentioned, in most of the cases, farm loan waiver will be given to people who have land. Government will tell anyone with land more than 1 acre, they can claim the farm loan waiver. 1 acre to 5 acre, they can claim the farm loan waiver. So here what's happening is, what about those farmers who does not have land, who have taken a land on a lease from someone and they are cultivating there, they have incurred loss. Now what you will do for this farmer? There is no provision. And whatever farm loan waivers you are implementing, it is not reaching everyone. Very less people are getting it. People who are educated, who have proper documentation with the bank, they are getting benefited. Others are not getting benefited completely. Reputational consequences. If the government gives farm loan waiver once, the farmers will think that even the next time this will happen. Everyone will get loans. There is chances that they may not use the loan for agricultural purposes. They can use the loan for their own personal purposes also, because they have the guarantee that farm loan waiver will be happening. We don't have to repay the loan. Third, not addressing the structural problems of agriculture. You are well informed. You are UPSC you are people who are preparing for the UPSC examination. You know what are the problems of agriculture, right? Major problem of agriculture is we have small land holdings. People have 1 acre, half an acre, quarter of an acre, such small holdings. So with such small holdings, we cannot involve in commercial agriculture. We need big land holding. 50 acre, 100 acre, they should come together. All the farmers should come together. They should form some association and then they should do agriculture. But that is not there. Rain fed agriculture, we are too much dependent on rain. We do not have proper irrigation system. Our irrigation systems are exploiting the rivers. We are too much dependent on fertilizers and pesticides even now. Organic farming is not happening properly. So all these are the major problem. If you take care of these structural problems, the problems faced by farmers due to loans and everything will be sorted out. They will be able to produce profit. They do not have to depend on the government for to provide a farm loan waiver. So we are still not concentrating on it. We are concentrating on small issues such as farm loans, and we are ignoring the big picture here. NPAs are non-performing asset. Non-performing asset. What are non-performing asset? If the bank is giving loan and the people are not repaying the loan, then it will become a non-performing asset. It is a loss for the bank. Here, if the people have the idea that we will be getting loan waiver, the government will give us loan waiver, what the people will do, they will start getting loans at a big lot and then they will not repay it. Because of this, what will happen? Sometime the government can tell that we will repay it, we will give a farm loan waiver. What if the government does not bring in such a scheme? Then the banks are going to lose. If the banks are losing, the Indian economy is going to lose. Banks are the pillars of the economy. Fiscal deficit. What if the government is spending this much money on farm loan waiver? The money is going to a place which is not going to give any kind of revenue. So fiscal deficit will increase. What is fiscal deficit? If expenditure is more than the revenue, we call it as fiscal deficit. So expenditure of the governments will increase like anything. It is a populist measure. I gave you an example where one party is telling that I will provide farm loan waiver. Another party will tell that I will provide farm loan waiver. So all the parties will start telling this and it will become a very vicious cycle. Every party will use this as a populist measure to get votes. All the problems we have seen. These are all the issues we have. What are the solutions? For this, what solutions we can have? We can have two solutions. One for the short term, one for the long term. See, agriculture is a very important topic, students. Agriculture, if you see the previous year questions of GS3, you can see that a lot of questions comes from agriculture. Even in GS1, they link geography with agriculture. They can ask question. So agriculture is a topic which is very important. If you are getting any current affairs related to agriculture, you should be given extreme amount of importance to it. In the short term, we can say that cap on loan waiver should be there. So the government, the central government specifically, they can say that no state should give loan waiver above a particular limit, not more than 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. Some limit they can fix. Insurance should be given importance. We should make sure the insurance scheme such as Pradhan Mantri Bima Yojana is there, that those schemes should be promoted. State government should take the initiative. Local governments, panchayats, they should take the initiative. They should educate the people that these insurance schemes are there with which you can actually claim insurance if there is a loss. So that should be promoted. Aligning export policies with agriculture. Export policies means India should focus on exporting our agricultural products. We should start exporting our fruits, vegetables to the foreign countries. By this, Indian economy will grow. The farmers will also end up getting a lot of profit. So our agricultural policy should be aligned with export policy. We should see what are all the products where demand is there. Mango is one product where huge amount of demand is there. Kashmiri apples are there, huge amount of demand is there. Saffron, which is produced in Kashmir, huge amount of demand is there. Such demand should be taken, and the government should promote the agriculture of these kind of products. Government should make sure they are insured so that the farmers will get a lot of revenue out of it. In the long term, crop diversification. Our farmers are dependent on single crop. If it is rice, they will go for rice. If it is wheat, they will go for wheat. If it is sugarcane, they will go for sugarcane. But if we are if we are if we are doing agriculture with multiple products in a same field, multiple crops in the same field, then even if one crop fail, you can get profit out of the other crop. And there are scientific studies which show that crop diversification is one method with which you can increase the profit like anything. So crop diversification should be promoted. Integration of agriculture with industry. Agriculture with agriculture, you are producing the food product, you will get very less amount of profit. Let's say that if as a farmer, if I'm producing wheat, if I'm selling the wheat, maybe I'll get 1 rupee profit out of 1 kg, or 2 rupee profit out of a kg. What if I have a food processing industry, I process the wheat, I'll produce some cookies, or I'll produce some wheat, and wheat bread, and I'll sell it. Here my profit will increase like anything. I can get profit around 5 to 10 rupees per product. So that is how you make agriculture profitable. Link it with industries. And then this point should be combined with this point. What is this point? Agripreneurs. You must be aware of the term entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people who take initiative to start business of their own. Agriculturalists, farmers should become entrepreneurs. So we can call them as agripreneurs. Government should focus on this. How? To promote, by promoting export, by promoting industries like what I told. Farmer producer organization. This is what I told. As a single farmer, he cannot be having that much power. He does not have that economy. If he go to the bank cannot give much loan because he doesn't have much resources to repay. What if some 10 or 15 farmers who live in a particular place, they all combine together, they form an association called farmer producer organization. They get it registered with the government, and now they go to the bank and say that we are an organization, and we have combined all our lands, and we are doing agriculture there as a combined entity. Now you give the loan. Banks will be happy to give loans, and they can actually implement scientific technologies there. Informed proper method of agriculture can happen. Such agriculture is happening in countries such as United States of America, and in European countries such as France too. So such things should be implemented in our country also. Just a basic fact about loans. We have told about the farm loan waiver, but do you know Kautilya, when he wrote Arthashastra, at that time he has mentioned in the 3rd century BC, he mentioned that if you are giving loan, what are the methods that should be followed? Because before that, in the Vedic period, loans were considered bad. They were considered as a crime. So he mentioned loans are fine. With the help of loans, you can improve your economy. You can actually give an impulse to the economy, but there should be some principles. Those principles should be followed. It should not cross an exploitative rate of interest. It should be systemized like this. What role the government should have if the people are getting loans and giving loans, how we should regulate it, everything was given in Kautilya's Arthashastra. Fine, let's start with a prelims question. I hope you have understood the concept properly. Let's start with the question. With reference to agricultural indebtedness of Indian farmers, which was recently in the news, consider the following statements. According to NSO report, see, the terms are very, very important. According to NSO report, more than half of India's agricultural households are in debt. This is the first statement. Second, Andhra Pradesh has more than 90% of the agricultural households under debt. Two statements are given. They are asking which among the following statements are correct. Right, which among the following statements are correct? I hope all of you will answer this. Start answering. Let me launch the poll now. All right, students, start answering this. Very well done. Most of the students have answered correct. And congratulations to those students who are in the leaderboard. See, both the statements are correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. We discussed in the context of the question itself that both the statements are correct. Before going to the mains question, a lot of people are asking what is agripreneur. I told you, entrepreneur, I hope all of you might have understood. Agripreneur is agriculturalist farmers becoming businessmen. How to become a businessman? Farmers have land with them, they have the raw material with them, but they should not just depend on the material they produce. If you are producing just a rice and selling it, you are getting very less profit. What is the role of a businessman? A businessman will take the material he has, he will add value to it, and he will sell it. So to make our farmers as entrepreneurs, we have to make sure we inform them everything about how to run a business, how to produce a farmer, an agricultural based company, a farm based company. We make sure we give them loans so that they can incorporate all these things and they can become agripreneurs. Agripreneur means agriculturalist plus entrepreneurs. That's it. All right, fine. So let's start with the mains question. Let me read the statement. So sometimes the questions will be lengthy, but then the things which you should concentrate on the question, that's always the same. First thing, they have given a statement. Farm loan waiver schemes are like a band-aid on a wound. It is the largest, it is the largest agrarian distress that demands urgent policy attention. So this is a statement that is given. In the light of the above statement, critically analyze the argument. This is the key word here. Arguments for and against farm loan waiver. So you have to divide your answer. For farm loan waiver, you can write advantages of farm loan waiver, 5-6 advantages we have discussed already. Disadvantages, 5-6 disadvantages. And then they are asking suggest measures to solve the present agrarian crisis. So you can tell that we have talked about short term measures and long term measures. Each and everything you can point out. Point wise answer writing, dividing the answer into three different parts. One is the advantages of farm loan waiver, second one disadvantages of farm loan waiver, and then measures. Everything is explained already. So write answer and send to us, get it corrected and get an expert opinion. I2U2 can become a regional feature like Quad. A small topic, but then importance is very high. Why? Because it comes under paper 2, under international relations. And international relations, even though the syllabus is very less, number of questions you get is very high. First, let's see what is this I2U2. I2 means India, Israel. U2 means USA and UAE, United Arab Emirates. So these four countries have combined together as a group. Recently, what happened? All the prime ministers of all these countries, they had a virtual summit and they said that we are launching a group called I2U2. Because all these four countries, we have similar economic ambitions. We are very well developing economies or already developed economies. We have ambitions and our worldview are same. We are all democratic countries. So we have started a group. Basic idea about I2U2: India, Israel, United Arab Emirates and United States. Very easy to remember, four countries. It is called the West Asian Quad. What are Quad countries? I want to know if people know this already. Do you know what are Quad countries? Come on students, answer for this. Yes, Anchal, Varun, Ashwin, very good. So all of these people have answered already. So Quad countries means four countries which have united together: India, Australia, Japan, and the United States of America. So we have combined together because we have common interest. We have common interest in our worldview, and in the recent times, China's influence has been increasing like anything in the Pacific Ocean, and they are doing a lot of illegal activities such as drawing their submarines to other countries' borders, etc. So we have to control this. We have to make sure the global world order is properly implemented. So the countries such as India, Australia, Japan, and United States, we combined together and we formed a group called the Quad Group. We have economic cooperation, we have scientific cooperation, we are helping other countries to get very good loans, and we are having security cooperation also. So these are Quad countries. Now we call I2U2 as the new West Asian Quad, because we have countries such as UAE and Israel. We are calling this can be another kind of a Quad, a similar model. Earlier, this group was known as the International Forum for Economic Cooperation, because earlier they came together only for economic cooperation, but they understood that we can be more, we can do more. So let's form a group out of it. What are the factors responsible for new grouping? Why we have formed this group specifically? First, Abraham Accord. See, let me give you a basic idea about Abraham Accord. Because when Donald Trump was the president of the United States of America, at that time his son-in-law, his name was Jared Kushner. He was the advisor of Donald Trump, the president's advisor. His family immigrated from Germany during the Second World War. He had a Jewish background. He was a Jew. So his family was following Judaism. He had a vision that Israel, which is a Jewish country, United States of America, which even though it is a democratic country which doesn't have a particular religion, they have a Christian majority, and then the United Arab Emirates, which has Islamic majority. All these countries can come together, because even though they follow different religion, their ideas are similar. They focus on economic development, they focus on scientific development. They are forward looking countries. So he had this vision and he made it come true also. They formed an Abraham Accord. The name is Abraham Accord because all these religions are called as Abrahamic religion. They consider Abraham as a pioneer from whom all these religions came down. He is considered to be the first ancestor of all these religions. So let's leave that part apart. This is the basic idea about Abraham Accord. Now you will understand why Abraham Accord is considered to be the basement for this grouping. These countries came together and they thought, in Asia, India is a major player. India is very powerful and India is a democratic country. It is not like Asia. I mean, it's not like China. So India will always follow a right path, a righteous path. So let's take India also together. Because of this grouping got formed, tackling Turkey's regional dominance. In the recent time, when Recep Tayyip Erdogan became the president of Turkey, earlier Turkey was following the rules according to NATO. It was aligned towards the United States of America. Recent times, Turkey wanted to show itself as the highest leader of the Islamic world. Among all the Islamic countries, they want to make sure that we are the leaders. Because of this, they have started to play similar to that of China in the West Asian region. They have started to acquire a lot of arms. They have started to spend a lot of money towards military. So they are dominating. This is a threat to Israel and UAE also. So to control that, we need strong players such as India and the United States of America. Pivot to Asia. This is USA's idea. United States of America has a very good linkage with the West Asian countries, specifically Iraq, etc. But then there are very powerful enemies also, such as the Iran. Now they want very good partners in the Asia, especially the West Asia. So India already, even though India is not a West Asian country, India is a South Asian country, but India considers West Asia as its extended neighborhood. You should be knowing this term, extended neighborhood. It considers Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, everyone. as their own extended neighborhood, even UAE, Saudi Arabia, etc. Because the reach is very easy. From Gujarat, if you take the seaway, we can reach Iran and Saudi, etc. in a very short time. So we consider it as our own extended neighborhood. So pivot to Asia we can do that. This is what USA thinks. We can move towards Asia. We can have very good partners such as Israel, UAE, and the and the India. So this is the basic idea behind the formation of this group. What are the aims? Aims of the grouping, basic aims you should be knowing. First one, economic relations, because all these countries have very good economic prospect, especially the United States of America and the UAE. They can invest a lot, especially in countries such as India, which has huge market scope. They can come and invest. This is the first point. 6 areas of cooperation they have understood. Just remember this: water, energy, transportation, space, health, and food security. All this, in all these matters, they will be coming together. They will cooperate among each other. They will start investing in other countries also. Private sector investment. Countries such as the United States of America has too much private sectors who are willing to invest in countries such as India. They want to make a market in India. So we are promoting that. Not just the United States. We have countries such as Israel, which has very good technological development. They have companies and organizations which develop high tech technology in fields such as agriculture, which India wants. Water technology. Israel is a country which has very less water resources, but even then they make sure a surplus amount of water is produced and provided with everyone. So we need such kind of technology because we have a lot of areas which are under drought. So they can come and invest here. Food security. For countries such as UAE and even Israel, even though at present they have food surplus, they are countries which are very dry in nature. They are dependent on other countries for food. So India is there. India produces a lot. In agriculture, we produce too much. So they can actually invest in India. They can invest in food parks in India, and they can import food from India very easily. Recently, UAE told that it will invest 2 billion US dollar to develop a series of integrated food parks across India. They have told that we will make sure you have a lot of food parks. Food parks means we are combining technology with the farmers, with the farmland, so that the farmers can have a setup from which they can export. They can get the idea about everything. Technological integration with agriculture will be there. So UAE has already told it. Similarly, United States of America and Israel has also told we will also invest. Private sectors in USA and Israel have already showed interest. Clean energy. India want to be a clean energy country. We do not want any pollution. By 2050 to 2070, we have decided we will make sure we will not pollute the world. Whatever carbon we are emitting, all those carbon we will take in also. We will make sure we have zero carbon emission. So that needs high-end technology, which whatever technology we have at present, we won't be able to do it. We need technology from these countries. So that is very important. A very good example, let me tell you, hybrid renewable energy project was implemented in Gujarat. 300 megawatt of wind and solar energy. This is already on the way. It will be implemented in Gujarat by I2U2. So this shows that in the near future we can have a lot more such schemes or a lot more such initiatives. Why this is important for India? Why this grouping is important for India? First and major reason, remember this exactly in the same way. It will help you in exam also. India scale. Scale means the market scale, the amount of population we have, the huge land mass we have, plus Israeli innovation. Israelis are very well known for their innovation. They are technologically at the higher end. This two combined together, plus Emirati wealth, means UAE has very good economic prospect. They have very small land, very small population, but economically they are well off. So these three things combined together, we can make sure it is a win-win situation for all the three. They can come and invest here. They can start technological technology based industries in India. The UAE industries can come and invest in India. They can make profit out of it. We will also benefit. This is the first thing. OPEC, India is a country which is dependent on petroleum. What is OPEC? Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. So all the petroleum exporting countries, they have formed a group, an organization. OPEC Plus is also there, where they are related with other countries also. I'm not going to explain very detailed about OPEC. You can go through it. You can search about OPEC and get a basic idea about OPEC. OPEC means petroleum exporting countries. All the petroleum exporting country, they have come together and they have formed a cartel. Why? Because if they are selling petroleum separately, they will have competition among them. Some countries will be able to sell petrol at higher price. Some countries will be able to sell the petroleum at lower price. So all the other countries will get petroleum from that particular country. The other countries will lose out. To prevent such situation, they have formed an organization and they are selling the petroleum at a fixed price. Here, India is a huge importer of petroleum. UAE is a member of OPEC. So if India wants something beneficial out of OPEC, we can make sure, we can tell UAE, and UAE can talk for it among the OPEC countries. Because among most of the OPEC countries, we do not have very good terms. So India can leverage this position it has with the UAE for this particular thing. Food security for UAE, I already told. UAE wants food security and India wants energy security. So both of this can be considered and taken care of. India is trying to move towards West Asia, just like United States of America. Now India also know that among our neighborhood, we already have very good position. We have very good position with the Asian countries also. Now we have to move west. So we are doing it. India is a very big consumer market. They can come and invest here. Minilateralism. Multilateralism is a lot of countries combining together. Minilateralism is when 3 countries or 4 countries combine together. So this is more beneficial because less number of people, we can take care of everyone's ambitions and aims here. Very easy result we can get. All the 4 countries are concerned about Pakistan. So if you are coming together in a single platform, we can make sure that the Pakistani problem in the region can also be tackled. Very big players such as Israel and UAE can be convinced by India that Pakistan is a threat for the region because of its terrorist policies. What should be the way forward? India can strengthen its relationship in trade, energy ties, and combining the climate change also, along with marine security. India should keep engaging Iran. Iran is a very big player and Iran is a country with which India is having very good relationship. But Iran is a country which is considered as a threat for Israel and United States of America. So India should make sure Iran also develops a good relationship with these countries, so that in the longer term India will also benefit, because India has Shabahar port in Iran. India has very good relationship with Iran. The problems that are there with United States and Iran has to be resolved. With this platform, India can act as a mediator. That should be there. It is a model for economic cooperation while also providing chances for our own entrepreneurs and workers. This is the way forward. Let's start with the prelims question for the students. Let's start answering this. Which of the following countries are part of the I2U2 grouping, which was recently in the news? Very, very simple question. 7 countries are provided: India, Russia, China, Israel, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. So let's start answering this. I will launch the poll now. All right, start answering, students. Let's finish this and move on to the next topic. Come on, students, last 20 seconds. Answer. Answer fast. We have very good topics. The last two topics are more interesting, especially the fifth topic. We can move forward soon. Excellent. 92% answered it perfectly. Avneet, Kirti, Abhijit, Manoj, Shivam, and all those people who have answered all the three questions. Very good. You are listening it properly. For everyone who have answered it in a proper manner. Fine. Having said that, this was a very short topic. Let's move on with the mains question 2. I2U2 has been dubbed as the West Asian Quad. In this contest, discuss the aims of this grouping and its significance. Very simple, students. What you will do, you will start an introduction. You will write what is I2U2, basic idea, 2-3 lines, that's it. And then you will start with the aims of this group. We have already discussed the aims. I hope you already know the aim. Write it one by one. Right. And then the second part, significance for India. Why for India it is significant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. And then come to the conclusion. Understood? Within 250 words you have to write. Let's move on to the next topic. Yeah. Science and tech. Science and tech is a topic which a lot of people ignore, but it should not be ignored. From science and tech, among GS3, you will get a lot of questions, students. You should make sure you know everything. Genomics is such a topic. Genomics means what? I'll tell you in a very, very easy manner to remember. Every human being, every living being has genes in it. And this is the genes which is deciding our nature. How tall one should be, what should be his color of eyes, what should be the hair color, should the hair be straight or wavy, what should be his nature, everything is decided by the genes. So each and every individual have a cell. Inside the cell you have nucleus, inside nucleus you have chromosome, chromosomes have DNA. These DNAs have different kind of patterns. Based on these patterns, each and every characteristics changes. This is the basic idea. I'm not giving a detailed scientific explanation because that is not required. And that's not required from your examination perspective. So basic idea of genes you have understood. What is genome? Genome means take all the genes in a human body or in an animal's body, take all the genes, all the DNA pattern, and you have a detailed data about it. That is what we call as genome. That is what we call as genome. The entire gene, the entire DNA pattern that is there in a human body, we call it as genome. The study of genome is called as genomics. Understood? Let's move on with the context. World Health Organization's Science Council. World Health Organization is there. Their primary duty is to take care of the health issues of the world. And they have to give a futuristic idea too. So they have a science council. The science council recently said that this genomics should be a study that should be promoted all over the world. At present, genomics is considered to be very important in the developed countries. Now they are telling that even in developing countries and underdeveloped countries, we should follow this. What were the recommendation? Basic recommendations I'll tell you. First thing, in low and middle income countries, we should expand the scope of genomics. Either the developed countries can go and do some research there, or you should make sure these countries also start it. So let's start giving them some information and idea about it. Let's find out why these countries are not able to do it. India is already doing genomic research, but consider other countries such as Bangladesh or Sri Lanka. They do not have that kind of scientific technology. But humanity is equal. Everyone is equal. So we need a proper data. We need genomic data about everyone. Why? Because genetic disease are there. There are a lot of disease which spreads through gene. If your father or mother has a disease, that can be that you can get affected by it. Sickle cell anemia is one disease which is genetic in nature. There are a lot of diseases like this which are very deadly. The child will die in 2-3 months, or after attaining a particular age, 12 to 15, it may die. So such diseases are there which we are not able to solve till now. We can solve if we invest in genome studies. If we have all the genetic data, we can know which particular gene, which particular DNA is causing this, how to rectify it. So we need to do this. We should make it affordable. These countries are not able to invest because they are very costly in nature. So we should make sure that the technology becomes affordable. For that, World Health Organization and developed countries should take initiative. 4 themes they gave which will promote genomics. First one, advocacy. Advocacy means you promote the idea first, give information, give awareness. Second, implementation. Awareness itself is not sufficient. You have to implement the projects also. Third, collaboration. These countries, these developing countries or underdeveloped countries, they may not be able to implement it properly. So you need to collaborate. Countries such as the United States or UK, they can collaborate with countries such as Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, etc., and they can make sure this is happening. There are a lot of legal issues, ethical issues, and social issues also related to genomics because it is a new technology. And whenever there is a new technology, a lot of problems will come up. Ethical problem will come up. Laws may not be there which talks about genomics and genomic studies. So we need to identify what are all the problems that can happen. We need to address all these problems and we need to make sure it is done in a very, very ethical manner. Application of genomics. Why genomics is important? I gave you a basic idea. Reduce global health inequalities. At present, health inequality is there. There are countries such as India which has huge amount of health issues, and then there are countries such as United States of America which has very less health issue. There are a lot of reasons for it. We have huge population below poverty line. We have concerns related to our own climatic condition. We are a tropical country. Disease spread very easily in our temperature. So all these things are there. So we need to study about our genome. Why this particular population has typhoid more? There can be some genetic factor for it. Why the West African population gets malaria? They do get malaria a lot, and preventing malaria from Western African population has become very difficult. And there is a gene which is responsible for it. There are some populations where HIV is very prominent. There are genetic reasons for it. So we need to identify this and we should be sorting it out. Personalized medicine. At present, whatever medicine we have one medicine which will be given to all the people. You have cold, you have this particular medicine, you can have it. But in reality, everyone's body is different. A person who is living in France, his body conditions, his genetic condition may be completely different from a person who is living in the northeastern part of India. Correct. So you cannot give a single medicine for everyone. So for what you do, you create a genomic study. You understand how the genes are there, how the DNA of this particular people are there. And if you give this particular chemical, how it will react, how their body will react. This will help in reducing the side effect of the medicines. So personalized medicine should be there. Prediction of disease at individual level. If you know the genetic setup of a person, genetic setup of a particular population, you can clearly tell how much risk they have. When COVID happened, there were a lot of research paper which said that Indian population cannot have huge amount of death when it comes to COVID, because there is a kind of a resistance. It can be scientific or unscientific, but what I'm telling is each and every population will have some differences, and some disease will spread in a huge manner among some population, and among some population it may not. So we need a proper study about it. In forensic science means in criminal studies. So you know that if you are finding a criminal, we can find the DNA of the criminal and you can say that this particular person has done it. So even for that, genomic studies are important. In agriculture, how do you do that? You can change the gene of a plant. If an apple tree is there which is producing around 80 apple in a season, you can change the genome of that, you can change the genetic setup of it, and you can make it produce 150 to 200 apples. That is possible, and that was done earlier also. So such studies will help agriculture too. Species conservation. If a species is dying, if a species is going exotic, so they, let us say that tiger, in case, just as an assumption, if we can assume that tiger population is reducing, what we can do is we can take the genome, we can take the DNA, we can take the entire genome of the tiger, and we can artificially create a genome, and we can clone that particular species. This is scientifically possible. This can be done. In India, till now, what are all the measures we have taken when it comes to genome? This is something which we should be knowing. What are the measures India has taken till now? Because if you are getting a question about genome in the exam, you should be knowing what my country is doing about it. Right. So the first thing, CSIR Indi Genome Program. The Central Science and Industrial Research, what they did is, they started a program called Indi Genome. With this program, what they are doing is they are selecting 1029 people from all over the country, not from a particular place. Because people who are in Jammu and Kashmir, their genome might be different from people who are in Tamil Nadu. People who are in Gujarat, their genome might be different from people who are in Nagaland. So from all over country, they are selecting people, and they have sequenced their genome. You know what they understood? They identified that 32.23% of Indians' genome are unique. Means such genome you will not get anywhere in the planet. You will get such genome only in India. This clearly proves that in our country, our population has a genetic setup which is different from all over the world. So we can have our own diseases which will impact us more, diseases which will impact us less, medicines which will be efficient for our own body, medicines which will not be efficient for our own body. This can be there. So this clearly shows that we have very good scope of development in genetics. Second, Genome India. Genome India is one program which is a very ambitious program. Here, what we have done is 10,000 individuals are selected from all over the country, and all their genomes will be sequenced. Why? To advance personalized medicine. Just like I told, we can have medicines which are developed for particular group of people, and we can change the efficiency of medicine according to genomic studies. For this, they are doing it. National Genomic Core is another initiative where we will get all the information about the genomic studies. It is a kind of a database which will give all the information about genomic studies. If you are doing a research, or if you need some solution about it, you can go here, you can get the information. So these three programs you should be knowing, very, very important. When it comes to genome study, what are the major challenges? First and the foremost important challenge is big data. Genome, if you are taking a genome of a person, you have to study the entire DNA pattern, each and every gene of that person. You have to have a record of it. If you are doing it for 10,000 people, think how much data we will get, how much different patterns we will get. It is a huge amount of data, and we as a country has not reached that point where we are good in data science. Mostly developed countries have that point. So we need to improve our data technology also. We need to have people who have expertise in data science. We need to promote data science plus biotechnology. That is the first thing. Second, problems, scientific racism and ethical issue, both of this. Let me give you a very small example about this so that you can understand it very clearly. I told you, if you have the genome, if you know the patterns of the DNA, you will know that which particular DNA is causing a particular disease. What if an embryo is formed, a male cell is combined with a female cell, an embryo is formed, and then from that embryo the child is developing? This is the basic idea behind reproduction. If you take the embryo's cell and you identify the DNA pattern, If you see that a particular DNA is there which is creating a problem, you can remove that DNA, replace the DNA with some a different kind of a pattern. This is possible. So changing the DNA with DNA fingerprinting technology, etc., this is actually possible. In China, there was a doctor who took the embryo. He created an embryo by combining a male and female cell, reproductive cell, and then that embryo had a HIV. The embryo was affected by HIV. He wantedly did it. And what he did, he identified that there is a protein which is carrying this HIV virus. He understood that if you remove that particular protein's sequence from the DNA, HIV will not sustain. He did it, and the children were born, twin children were born without HIV. So this looks like a very good thing. Why it is a problem? Because it was not approved by the Chinese government. It was not approved by the scientific society of the China. It was a very unethical thing because he created an embryo with HIV. What if the study failed? We would have got two people, a twin with HIV. This could have happened. So here the problem is with ethics. Is this okay? Is this fine to do this? Can we do such research with human individual? Can we change the DNA pattern? DNA is something which we get naturally from our father and mother. It can result even in racism. We call it as scientific racism. How? Someone can tell that I don't want a child who has a dark skin. You find the genes responsible for skin color, you change it, and make sure my son is born with fair skin. Such a kind of a racist idea. This can happen. That we call as designer baby. Designer baby. Designer baby means the scientist can actually modify the embryos, modify the stem cell, and he can create a baby with preferred genetic setup. So this is a very bad thing which can happen if it is not regulated properly. So we need proper regulation. For this, we do not have the technology now. We do not have proper laws and regulations too. These are all the basic challenges. In conclusion, you can clearly tell, see, there will be a lot of technologies. Technology will always have advantages and disadvantages. The new technology will always have problem. But because it is problematic, can you just not start with that? You have to. If you are not equipped with the technology, you will get outdated. So a person without a smartphone at present is completely outdated. He doesn't even know what happens in the world at present. The same thing will happen with the country too. If India is not investing in genome, if we are not investing in genomic study, we will get outdated. So we can say that India must strive to collect information about the genetics of its population and train manpower capable of interpreting it in order to actualize the vision of genomic revolution. Genomic revolution is about to come. By that time it comes, India should be very well equipped. We should have proper data about our own population at least. Fine, so let's start with a prelims question. Let's start answering this. Genome sequencing can help us identify which DNA are causing what kind of problems. This is the first statement. Second one, Genome India is a pan-India initiative. Pan-India means all over the country, focused on whole genome sequencing of representative population across India. Two statements are given. Read it very carefully, and here what they are asking, which of the statement given above is or are incorrect. So in examination too, such questions will be there. They can ask incorrect options. You should be answering it with very much carefulness. So try to read this statement. Let us start the poll and let's start answering. Answer it carefully, students. All right. Okay, fine. So yeah, there was a small technical issue, students. I hope it is resolved now. I hope I'm audible. All right, great. Okay, fine. So let's continue with this. So they were asking about incorrect option. So both the statements are correct. Both the statements were correct. So the option is D, neither one nor two. Right. So let's move on with the mains based question. What do you mean by genome sequencing? The concept they are asking, what is genome sequencing? Discuss various initiatives undertaken at national and international level to initiate the genome revolution. You will be starting by writing what is genome sequencing. Basic definition you will be writing. I have explained already. In a normal layman term, you don't have to give a scientific explanation to it. Discuss various initiatives undertaken at national and international level. In national level and international level, what are the things we should be taken care of? What are the measures we have? So for national level, we have already discussed. In international level, there is a human genome program. Human genome program. Right. So you this take this particular thing as your homework and try to get information about human genome program. This is one program which is very important, which you should be knowing from international perspective. The same genome program which we did, they are doing it in the international level. That is what it is. Let's start with the final question of the day, final topic of the day. It's a very small topic related to geography, or we can get it even in disaster management, environment. Such an important topic it is. Glaciers are receding in the Dras region of Kashmir, of Ladakh. So in Dras region, the amount of glaciers we are having, it is receding. Receding means their quantity is getting reduced. If the quantity is getting reduced, what will happen? Glaciers are ice, they will melt. It will result in too much amount of flood. If glaciers are melting, more water will be there. If more water is there, rivers will overflow. It will result in flood. Slowly, if all the glaciers are melted, then it will completely change the geography of the region. Earlier, there were ice which was covering everything. Now we do not have any ice there. The geography of the region will be completely changed, which will create a lot of other issues. So this has to be tackled. The context is, there was a recent study which was conducted by a journal, Environmental Science and Pollution Research. They have attributed the declining of glaciers for vehicular traffic. They are telling that Ladakh is a region where you do not have much industries. But this Dras region is located very close to a national highway. Because of this, because of too much of traffic and the amount of pollution caused by traffic, the glaciers are reducing. The glaciers are getting melted. Right. Decadal pace at which glaciers are reducing in Ladakh's Dras region indicates a grave threat to Himalayan glaciers. This shows that if in a particular place the glaciers are reducing, that means in the entire Himalayan region glaciers can be reducing. This will change the entire Himalayan ecosystem. So this can become a huge disaster for India, because India is having a lot of rivers which comes from Himalayas. This is the basic context. How glaciers are formed in a very small manner, let me explain. Let's say there is a mountain like this. Snowfall will happen. All the snow will get accumulated at a place. Slowly they will develop as a block. One by one, because of increased amount of pressure, increased amount of force, it will develop as a block. Similarly, a lot of such blocks will develop. Slowly they will combine together, and then they will result into a very big block of ice which we call as glacier. After a time, their weight, their capacity, their volume will increase to such a length, they will start moving away from the mountain or away from the glacier itself. They will divide and they start moving. Here we call it as iceberg. Once it starts moving and get into the ocean or a river as an ice, we call it as an iceberg. This is how glacier is formed. Now, one important condition is the climate should be the same. If the temperature increases a lot, then the snow will melt immediately. The snow should maintain its level so that glacier is formed. And glacier is very important for us because glacier is pure white in nature. The amount of sunlight we get, the glacier reflects everything. That's what we call as albedo effect. You might have studied this in your geography. Albedo effect. So if this is not happening, if there are no glaciers, what will reflect the sunlight? There will be nothing to reflect the sunlight completely. The amount of albedo effect which glaciers and snow caps does it very high, extremely high. So this is very, very important to reduce the temperature of the earth. If glaciers are melted, then we will not have something which will reflect the sunlight. So the sunlight's absorption by the land will be very high. The temperature of the world will also increase. About Dras, basic idea. You don't have to have a detailed idea about it. It is located in the Kargil district in the Union Territory of Ladakh. It is very closely located to National Highways 1 between Jojila Pass and Kargil town. It is called the gateway to Ladakh. From Dras, you will be moving towards Ladakh. Altitude is 3,300 meter. Altitude means height from the sea level. It is 3,300 meter, very high. Climate, it is the coldest place in India. Of course, Ladakh is the coldest place in India. Winters temperature will be minus 20 degrees Celsius. In summers, it can go around 23 degrees Celsius. What are the key findings of the study? I told you an environmental journal did a research and they found some basic things about the receding of the glaciers. One thing, 3% reduction has happened. So if there are 100 acres of land which was filled with glaciers, now we have just 97 acres. 3 acres has gone. So take the scale of it. It is a very huge area. So 3% will become too much when it comes to that particular place. Debris cover. Debris cover means if in a place there are a lot of stones or a lot of rocks or some kind of plants or something which is covering, then the amount of reduction of glacier is less. But if the glacier is open, if it is completely exposed, then the amount of glaciers reduction is higher. Glacier melting is higher. The problem is in Ladakh region, most of the glaciers are not covered by the debris. They are not covered by the debris. That is the major problem here. Elevation, if the glacier is located in the lower part, below the roads, I mean near to the roads, then the receding is higher. Don't have to remember the percentage. Just remember that in the lower elevation, it is higher. In the mid and higher elevations, the amount of melting is less. So this also shows that roads are closer by. That's why the amount of melting is higher. Glacier shrinkage pattern, 17 glaciers near the highways has shown that they are reducing. Their melting amount is reducing. Vehicular emission, 60% of black carbon emission. Black carbon means if you might have seen this in trucks or very old cars or buses, the pollution that comes out of it is very black and thick black in nature. If you take a new bike or if you take a very new car with very good engine, you cannot even see the smoke that is coming out. So that's what we call as black carbon. Black carbon means if a fuel is not burnt completely, if it is subjected to incomplete burning, we call it as incomplete combustion. Combustion means burning with a lot of heat. So incomplete burning or incomplete combustion will result in black carbon. If it is a complete burning, if something is burnt completely, we will get white carbon. So because of black carbon, what happens? This black carbon will go and it will get deposited everywhere. And black carbon is something which absorbs heat a lot. The entire glacial surface, which is pure white in color, if there are roads here and from roads you are getting a lot of pollution, and most of these vehicles are trucks. They carry goods to Ladakh. through the highways. These trucks give out a lot of pollution. The black carbon that the trucks give, they just go and deposit all over the surface of the glacier. Because of this, when sunlight is there, the sunlight is absorbed by them. Earlier I told glaciers actually reflect the sunlight because they have the black carbon all over the place. Now sunlight is absorbed. If sunlight is absorbed, what will happen? It will result in melting of the glaciers because temperature is increasing. Now you might have understood the basic reason behind vehicle pollution and then glacier melting. Nearly twofold increase has happened in black carbon concentration from 1980 to 1920. 2 times the amount of black carbon has increased in the recent times. What is black carbon? I already mentioned you aerosol. Aerosol means very small micro particles of solid or liquid. If it is floating in the air, we call it as aerosol. Most of the black carbons are particulate matter. Particulate matter means very small in size. Micrometer it will be. 2.5 micrometer. 2.5 micrometer means what? 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 meter. That is the size of this particle. Very small. We cannot even identify. So they are aerosols which is created due to incomplete combustion or incomplete burning, which we discussed already. It is the second most dangerous anthropogenic agent causing climate change. What is the first most dangerous anthropogenic agent which causes climate change? What is the first most dangerous element which causes climate change? Exactly. Kajal, Rani, Akash. Very good. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the first major element. Second one is the particulate matter. That is what we call as the black carbon. Source. Most of the source is coal-fired power plant. Coal has a lot of burning. So too much pollution comes out. That is the first thing. Second, diesel and gas engines. Gas engine means petroleum engine. Raises the air temperature and decreases the surface reflectance of sunlight too. So I told you they are very small in size, extremely small. So they can float all over the atmosphere. If they are floating all over the atmosphere, when sunlight is coming up, let's say this is the atmosphere, you have black carbon floating all over. Sunlight is coming up. Sunlight will fall directly in the black carbon. Even though it is floating, they will absorb the heat. What will happen? The atmospheric heat will also increase. In the bottom, you have glacier, and in the glacier too, everywhere it is deposited. Here too, the amount of radiation that comes up, everything is absorbed. This will result in increase in heat of the glacier also. Understood? So what are the major sources? Industries, brick kilns, even residents. In the households, if you are burning wood or fuel, this will happen. On road, diesel fuels will result in this. Open burning of any material will result in this. What measures we should take? National Mission on Sustaining Himalayan Ecosystem is already a scheme which is present. With this scheme, what we are doing, we are connecting all the states where Himalayas is there. We are identifying what are the problems these states are facing, what are the problems Himalayas is facing. So with this mission, we should identify this also as a huge problem. We should identify it. We should start addressing the issue. Second, black carbon emission can be reduced. We can tell that if you are going to Ladakh, this pollution certificate is very, very important. You should make sure too much black carbon is not let out. You can completely tell them that the trucks which are outdated, which have outdated engines, they should be banned to go to this particular region. That can be done. Fuel efficiency standards in vehicles can be improved and electric vehicles can be promoted. And for cooking, LPG gas should be promoted because it doesn't give any kind of pollution. Upgrading the technology in brick kilns. In Kashmir, you have a lot of brick kilns. Brick industries are there that produces a lot of pollution. So brick kiln is fine. It is an industry which is important for the local population, but it cannot use outdated policies. We should improve the technology that are used in the brick kilns. That's important. Greater knowledge sharing within the region. We should improve the awareness of the people. If people are aware, if they are aware that this will have an impact on their entire life, their future generations can be impacted, then they will stop using fuels which will produce a lot of black carbon. Let's go with the conclusion. The researchers have already warned of the consequences, that if the observed trend of climate change continue in future with the same amount of increased greenhouse gas emission, with increase in black carbon, if all these things are there, the Himalayan ecosystem will completely disappear. If Himalayas is not there, the entire climate of the country will change. India will become a desert. The entire country will become a desert. We do not want it. We want to take steps now itself. That will be your conclusion. Let's take this prelims question in a fast manner with reference to the black carbon that was recently in the news. Consider the following statements. It is a short-lived pollutant. First point, open burning is one of the sources of black carbon emission in the Himalayan region. Third, a significant portion of black carbon is particulate matter. Significant portion of black carbon is particulate matter. So short-lived pollutant means what? It will not be available for a long time. It will be there for a short time and then it will disappear. So let's start with a poll for this. All right, students, start answering. Last 30 seconds, come on. All right, very good. Kirti, Shivam, Kiran, Shrestapal, Anshika, and all those people who have got all the 5 questions correct. Congratulations to them. And most of you have answered it properly. The answer is D. All the 3 statements are correct. Let's start with the mains question. Recent studies have shown that black carbon emission from vehicle has a significant effect on glacier recession in the Himalayan region. Comment. How you will frame? This is a little tricky question. First, you write an introduction. You can tell that recently there was a study and then it was found that the Dras region in the Ladakh of India is facing receding of glaciers as a big problem. So this has to be taken care of. That will be the introduction. Then you tell how black carbon, you can tell what is black carbon. That is first. Because it is a 15-mark question, you have to fill 3 pages here. Tell what is black carbon. Then you tell how black carbon is contributing for pollution. Black carbon's contribution for glacier declining. Right, that will be your next topic. You will mention everything which I explained in the concept, and then you will be coming to a conclusion. In conclusion, you tell that this particular issue is very significant because Himalayan ecosystem define the entire climate of the country. We have more than 10 major rivers which start from Himalayas. So we have to take care of it, else the Himalayas will be gone, the glaciers will be gone, global warming will increase, and India's entire ecosystem will change, climate will change. So that's all for the day. If you have any important questions, I will be answering. Before that, let's just complete this fact. This is the region which is present here. It is the Himalayan ecosystem. So among Himalayan ecosystem, it is called as the third pole. We have a North Pole, we have a South Pole, the Himalaya, entire Hindu Kush mountain range is considered as a third pole. Why? Why is it considered as a third pole? Because the amount of glaciers, the amount of ice that is there is huge, very large area. And then the problem is, because of global warming, this particular region, the Hindu Kush region, is extremely impacted, much more than the North Pole and the South Pole. This shows that countries such as India and China, which are very closely related or located to the Himalayan region, we should be taking measures in a combined, collaborated manner to prevent this problem. So, by this, let's end this session. If there are any questions, you can wait for the next 10-15 minutes. I can answer the questions. And this was a mains based session, students. So I hope all of you write answers, start writing answers. I have given the questions. You have a separate expert members team in Byju's who are actually evaluating each and every question which you are sending. Make use of it. Do not waste it. Make use of it. Start writing answer, at least one answer a day. One answer a day, or even if you have a lot of time constraint, write at least 3 answers in a week. But you should start writing answers from now itself. All right, about debris cover you have asked, I'll tell you. A lot of people have asked this. Let's say this is a glacier. Let's say there are a lot of rocks and stones here. There are some trees also present, and there are some grass. This means that a lot of debris is covering. So glacier is there. On top of the glacier, we are having some rocks or stones or some kind of natural material. If such materials are there, what will happen is it will hold the glacier together. Stability of the glacier will be very high in this case. If it is not there, if nothing is there, the entire glacier is completely exposed to sunlight. It is completely exposed to pollutants also. That is the reason why I told glaciers without debris, they are much vulnerable in nature. All right, some of the people were asking important schemes related to agriculture. Important schemes related to agriculture. Material is already available in your app. If you go to current affairs material, value addition materials are available. If you are not able to get it, ask your mentor, call to the mentorship helpline and ask the mentor, where can I get materials regarding schemes of agriculture, because that itself is a very big topic. In a webinar session we won't be able to discuss it. You can ask the mentor or you can refer to the schemes that are available in Byju's exam prep app. Get the material. We have already provided those material. You can get information from there. Lisa is asking, for main science and tech webinars along with current affairs magazine will be enough. Yes, it will be more than sufficient. Don't have to worry about it. Okay, there is a question where the student has asked, carbon dioxide is there. Carbon dioxide is already present in the atmosphere and plants are using carbon dioxide for their survival. How can we say that it is the huge pollutant? Carbon dioxide which is present already in the atmosphere, that's not a pollutant. We are adding carbon dioxide. We are burning a lot of materials with our industries. We are burning fuels and we are providing extra carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is not utilized by the plant. Whatever carbon dioxide is already there in the atmosphere, they are used by the plants. Whatever carbon dioxide we are providing as extra, they are contributing to the pollution. They are contributing to the global warming because they will be trapping the radiations. So that is very dangerous. Siddhant, does black carbon affect Earth? Yes. In every way it affects. It will increase the temperature. It will increase temperature absorption. It will cause disease to human being, respiratory disease. In every way it affects. It will get deposited on plants also. So plants will not be able to absorb the carbon dioxide properly. In the pores of plants, it will get deposited. In every way it is dangerous. What are the advantages for UAE for investments? Investing in India. Okay, Ashwin, very good question. See, Ashwin, the thing is, UAE is a very small country. Because of its less population, even though they have a lot of resources, a lot of wealth, they do not know where to invest. They need some investing arena. And if they are investing in a country such as India, that shows that their companies, their MNCs are present in India. So India's welfare is their welfare also. India should become a developed country for their own reasons too. So in this way, it is a win-win for both. India will develop, the UAE will also develop. The MNCs or the organization that are present in UAE, they will invest in India. They will again get profit. Their wealth will keep on increasing. So it is a win-win for both. Can the study of genetics and genome sequencing help to cure disease like TB, pneumonia, simulation? Pneumonia is something which cannot be cured, but TB can be cured. So some disease has a very good impact from the genetics. So such diseases can be cured. Okay, Rishabh, is the new advertisement law retrospective in nature? At present, whatever advertisements are going to get screened, each and everything will be impacted because of this. Whatever advertisements from now on is going to get screened, if they are not following it, you can actually raise a complaint. So we cannot apply this for advertisements which came 20 years ago or something. That cannot happen, but from now on, it can be done. Jyoti, black carbons are produced by human being. Whenever we are burning something in the industries, a lot of pollution comes up. Wherever the amount of smoke that comes up is extremely black in color, you can understand that a lot of black carbon is coming out. Akhil, albedo effect is a phenomenon where the sunlight, the temperature that is coming inside, the sun's radiation that is coming inside the atmosphere or into the atmosphere is getting reflected back. That's what we call as albedo effect. Ashwin, yes, advertisement guidelines can be successful if it is implemented properly. That is the caveat I told you. We have to make sure it is implemented properly. State governments, central government, and then local authorities. Everyone should act in a single, proper, paved agenda so that this can become a success. Else, it will not. Okay, Arghya, very good question. What is OPEC plus? OPEC organization is there already, which has members such as UAE, Iran, Iraq, etc., Saudi Arabia, etc. But OPEC plus are some extra countries which wanted very good relationship with OPEC, so they have joined like observers. So they will have very good relationship with them. They will go to all the meetings of OPEC, but they are not actually members. You don't have to remember each and every name of the countries, but you can just know this is the concept. USA helps Pakistan. Will this become a threat to India? Also, will it affect Russia's relationship? See, USA is a very practical country when it comes to international relations. USA doesn't support any particular country. Whatever country USA has a very good relationship, that is based on real politic. Real politic is a term that is used in international relationship. Everything is realistic in nature. If they have an advantage, they will have good relationship. If they do not have an advantage, they will not have good relationship. That is as simple as that. And Russia has been a very good partner to India from a long time. Russia knows that India has its own ambitions, and that is the reason India has good relationship with United States too. Russia does not link India's relationship with USA as a concern. Russia just wants India to continue the relationship in the same manner. Having said that, let's end this. If you have any concerns or any queries, you write to Target IAS or call to the mentorship helpline. We have experts who will guide you. Thank you. Good night. Stay safe.